Here's your Irontrader, and this is Midday Trading. So we'll take a look here today at FedX, Apple, and NVDA. All right, this video is for information purposes only, not a recommendation to buy or sell any stock by ETF. Please like, subscribe. Thanks for watching. All right, here we have FedEx. Now, this is running real nicely, just the opposite of what UPS is doing. And look how nice this is holding that nice 8-day all the way on up. We came all the way down here. We had this big green candle, but then you notice that it came right on up here. This was on the earnings situation. This is looking here very nice. You're just climbing the old wall right up here. Now, you can see here we're touching that like an overbought condition. However, you can just see the strength that's going on here. So I think this is going to go higher kind of a situation. Okay, so far today we had this high of 294.75. So what we want to do is just look right to the left here. That's going to be your resistance, 295.24. So you're sitting right there. Okay, now your next level, as we come right here to the left, is 297.58. And then we just work it right on up here. You got 302, and then we come up here. We have that 308 level, and then right up here we have that 313.84. That's your breakout. So if it gets to this level here, this is exactly, where you have to see what happens. Does it break through, or does it this double top kind of a situation, sideways action, okay? But for right now, this is the level that you're watching. Right here is at 295.24. You're just about right there. And I say we just follow this right on up here. Always look to the left of the chart because, where it's been is usually where it's going to be going again, kind of a situation. Okay, now on the downside here, well, obviously we want to watch that 8-day. That's going to be very critical. You're looking at that 280.656 level. Then we come down to the bottom of this candle here, looking at that 281. Then we have your 21-day at 279. Then we'll come to the bottom of that candle there at that 270. Then we can work yourself all the way down to this 263, this 50-day. But right now you can see what a nice, good uptrending situation. If that 8-day doesn't, and it comes right down to that old catch-all, that 21-day, and she's moving up very nicely. Now, what I like about this is, has a consolidation, then it runs right on up here. Nice, good consolidation, then runs up, consolidation, runs up, consolidation, and it runs up. This is just a really nice chart that just seems like it wants to go higher. So again, just watch this level right here. This is going to be very key. 295 level. We get above that, we can come up here to that 308 level, and then we come up to that 313 level. All right, let's take a look here now at Apple. All right, here we have Apple. Now, you can see here the nice, good run uptrending situation that we have going on here, okay? So we have the same thing. We have this nice, good run up, then consolidation. Then we have a run up, then we have consolidation, nice consolidation run up all the way out here till we hit that 282.62. Now what we got is we got this like a little bit of a pullback here. But you notice we lost that 8-day, we hit the 21-day. Now we're stuck pretty much like on that 50-day, okay? Now, what you want to watch is that 270.52. That's going to be very key. If we lose that, then we'll come down and retest this 266 on 95 level. Okay. Then all we got to do is just look right to the left of the chart. Okay, you're looking at that 264 level. Then we'll come right up here. You're looking at that 259 level. Then we come on top of that candle at 256, and then we have your 254. Okay, so it's just the opposite. Okay, so what you want to do is when it runs up here, okay, and then it breaks out. Now all these levels here are your support levels on the downside situation if it keeps right on rolling on down. Now on the upside, what you really want to watch is that 8-day, 273.44. Very key. You got to get above that, and then we have to get above that 277.22. Once we do, then we come to the top of that candle right there at that 280 level. All right, then we just follow these candles on up here. You got 284, and then we have that 288 breakout 62. We crack above that, then we head right for that 300 mark, and then we have to see exactly what's going to happen. Does it crack through? Gives us that round number. That's really very kind of like a difficult situation. Now, you look at here, we got the little bit overbought scenario. It's coming right on down, but now we're only sitting at 45. The green is below red because you can see the momentum to the downside situation. But that's when we had these downsides here before, like this, like that. And again, that doesn't really mean that. As long as we can hold that 50-day, that's going to be very key. If not, we come down to the retest down there, and we can come all the way down to that 100-day and that 200-day. But realistically, all your other support levels are just right here. All the tops of these situations here will be all your nice key support levels. All right, let's take a look here now at NVIDIA. All right, here we have NVIDIA. NVIDIA is getting a little love today. Okay, it's up about 3.5. Now we're popped right above here against this 50-day. Let's see if we can hold it. That's going to be very key support. Is 185.64. That's going to be very key. We lose that, you come right down here. 182 level. Then we have 180, that's your 21-day. Then we have this 8-day sitting there at 178. Okay, we lose that. We'll come to the bottom of this candle here, looking at 176 level. Then we can come down to the bottom there at 171, and then we're looking for this retest at 169. We lose that, we come down to the 200-day. But when we just sold right on off here, we made that low of 169, and then we retested that level with that 170. So we have a nice double bottom situation here with a higher low, and now we're starting to rally up. Okay, so now on the upside, what you want to watch here is today's high we made so far. We made 188.05 level. Okay, so your next level right there is going to be at the 191 level, and then we'll come up top of this candle here. We're looking at 196, and then we just bring this price channel right across. What do we get? You got 199 level, and then we just venture right on up. Now here's a gap. It's a small gap. 197.93. There's your gap. We look to the bottom of that candle at 205. So we have a gap and a fill, and then we have that 212 level. Now, when you look at this, see this 212, okay? And then we had that retest of that candle at 211. See this, that double top situation, okay? And then it's been selling off ever since. But now we have this double bottom here, okay, which maybe will take us right back up again. So your next big target is we just bring that price channel right across. That is your next big target, is that 196 flat. And then we bring that across again, is that 199 level. And then we have that nice gap up there. And then we have that fill. Then we have that big retest at 212. Now we crack that, you're going to head right for that 220 area. And then eventually I think it's going to venture all the way up to that 250 kind of situation. Maybe even next year once we start going into the earnings period. On the downside, just watch all these nice simple moving averages. Very, very easy. That 185 level, okay, that 182, the 180. Then we have that nice 78, and then we have your retest of 169. So right now the price is above all your simple moving averages, and this chart is looking actually very, very good, because what we have here now is we have this W pattern. See this? And usually when you break out of that W pattern, that's that neckline, that 188. Once you crack about that, then all we do is take 188 minus the 169, and then we add that to it, and that's where your target is on the upside. Okay, so it's really, really not that bad. So you really, you know what I'm saying? So you got 79, 89, you're roughly 20 points there from right there from that 188, which you're taking right back up to that 212 level. Then we have to see what the reaction is going to be. Now, what do we have? RSI. Well, you're only sitting at 55. You got plenty of room to run. Now your green crossed over your red. See that? Where that momentum crosses over your red. But I do like this nice, good W pattern here, and once you break out of that neckline, we're going to add 20 points to that, and we're going to come right up here to that 212 level. Alrighty, that's what I got for you. I'll be back here at after the old pit close. We'll take a look here at Bitcoin, and we'll take a look at gold and silver, which have a nice move going there, and then we'll look at the crude oil and natural gas. Natural gas is a really good trade today, and it reversed very, very nicely. I'm in the UNG, and and then we'll take a look at the indexes, which are now nice and green. Let's see if they can hold. All right, trade what's in front of you, not what you want.